Hello, hello.
Hello. How
How are you?
are you?
Oh, look at your cute little
Yeah.
Braver's ball. What are you working on today?
I'm gonna do another attempt at setting that teeny weeny moonstone that I cracked last time.
All right. That
Yeah.
sounds like a good plan.
Yeah.
That is awesome. I am working on it's a pin. I think it's going to be a pin. I'm pretty sure it might be a pendant, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be a pin
Huh.
that will have the rainbow sapphires, trans flag, and then the black and brown diamond as well. Um, I think it's going to be a pin. I haven't decided quite yet. So it's going to be all these little sparkly rainbow.
Yours. How do I fix this?
What's that?
I can't see the one you're doing. Am I supposed to be able to?
I don't know what it looks like from your end. To be honest with you, I can see both, but
Hmm.
um, yeah, I've never been on the other end of it. I would assume you could see both, but I don't know. Oh, look, mine's making an F. Huh. I mean, I wouldn't worry too much about it. Hey, Jean. People can feel free to say hi and drop, say stuff in the comments or whatever. I've got my iPad so I can kind of, because this is hovered above my bench, I can't see it, but I have my iPad so I can look over to see if anybody has a question or anything like that. Hmm. I also was running a few minutes late, so I'm also chowing down on my um, little bit of my food because I'm tacky like that. Yep, I'm back.
Okay. So I'm right view. I've got my phone rubber banded to a lamp.
That's awesome. I
Okay.
know I had a couple of people that were like, I don't know, if I have the right setup and everything. I'm like, you just literally lean it on a book, probably. I mean, depending on what they're doing and what they're working on, it's um,
I feel like you're gonna mostly just see the top of my head.
oh, speaking of, I need to grab my visor. See, we get to when I post this later, I'll edit out all this like setup stuff first. So how is the new setup? Are you getting kind of situated?
Um, Kind of. I'm gonna be perfectly honest. This is my first real go at a project here because moving is expensive, and I have not really had
Yeah.
the budget to buy a lot of the stuff I needed.
Yep.
This
And
was a good incentive.
jewelry making is expensive.
Yes, it is.
Yep. It's surprising sometimes how things add up.
Yeah.
Um, that's kind of one of the reasons why I really love um, a lot of the like repurposing and stuff because it's
Yeah.
like, okay, oh man. So at the refiner, I've been asking them to keep a lookout for really cool old watch fob chains and stuff.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, it was like last year I told them, and then finally I kind of just stopped bugging them because I thought, I don't know, maybe like they're like, oh, we haven't seen anything, or oh yeah, we forgot, blah blah blah. So
Yeah.
the other day I went in there and he's like, oh hey, I've got something for you. I haven't picked it up yet, because I didn't have my checkbook on me, but it's a watch fob chain that's gold and it has like blue enamel. It's like from the early
Wow.
1800s. Yeah, I'm like, I don't
Very
know.
cool.
They're like diamond shaped links. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it, but I'm super stoked. So
That's so
I
cool.
know. I'm not sure. I mean, I kind of want to do like where I extend between the links so I can make it into a necklace, but it would also
Ooh,
be so cool. You got your coffee.
yeah.
I got my tea. And my new, and it's not like, I wouldn't say that it's mass produced, but it's some artist, she makes bowls and stuff like that.
Oh, nice.
Not like I can tip it, but let's see here, it's the bowl maker, but it's my Lucky Bison cup. And she does all these different animals and get like a lucky otter cup or a lucky, and the graphics are really cool.
I wish I could see it.
I know. I'll send you a picture. Um, they finally like, I'm kind of weirded about my like I like my cups to be like really big.
Mhm. No, I'm the same way. My teacups are like bowls.
Right. Because I feel like by the time you doctor up something just the way you want to have it, you know, if it's like 8 ounces or something, then it's yeah, and then they cool so quickly. But all of this artist cups they're really cute, but a lot of them are really small. So it took
Mm.
forever for this little artisan shop. It's my friend. Oh, you met Alex Sanso. She's the uh, sh- she's been to a couple of Jeannie's gigs on the island, and she has the little shop down in Winslow. Um,
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
Alex
yeah.
and her wife Dawn. Yeah. Anyways, she has them at her little shop, and um, they finally had one with the bison that was big enough.
Nice.
So, how's Jasper the cat?
Rest of the cat is good. He's thriving, ruling the house.
Nice.
Found all his new favorite nap spots.
Good.
And
Got
I
sunbeams.
realized that he now lives in a place where the outside is just through one door. And
Uh-huh.
so he likes to stand at that door and yell about it. He wants to go out.
I still think it's so funny. Did you guys train him from kittenhood to be on a leash, or
Yeah, we did.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so
That's
awesome.
it. Except the car. That was another big one.
Yeah. I my two cats and um both of them just like we ended up having to get a in-house vet for a
Oh,
while,
wow.
although she's retired, so now we have to find another one because the car ride was just so traumatic. Um, and this my poor little handicapped cat would then, soil themselves, and so it just was too much. It's like you're already handicapped.
We
I
don't need
just
to
don't need to
torture
make
you.
yeah, I just don't want to make your life harder than it already is. But
Yeah.
my little tree is taking shape. Have you guys gotten a Christmas tree or any of that jazz yet?
I just finished putting up all the decorations today, but I don't know if we're gonna
Wow.
get a tree because we're coming back to Seattle for actual Christmas. So
What?
yeah, we'll be back the 21st through the 28th.
Okay. Well, I have some stuff for you.
Oh,
I,
yay!
I don't know if you want to wait. I can send you the boric acid. And then I've got that pearl. Um, I can send that to you. But yeah, oh my gosh. Well, I hope I get to see you.
Yeah, let's definitely get together.
Yeah.
Have you already set the little stone?
Not yet. I was thinking about doing that today, but then I thought I'd kind of want to have you, want to video that and it is next. I've had
I
some
know.
setbacks, and I'm trying really hard to like get back to quote normal. And
Yeah.
but I have not forgotten you. I feel bad about that.
No,
It's on
no,
my
don't feel bad. Well, I was
on
just
your
sort of like,
list.
if you're, this is your busy season too, right? So like if you're slammed, I could even come in. If you don't get to it before I'm back, I could even come in and watch you.
Oh, that could be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll see how the timing is. Yeah, I have surgery on the 5th, which I'm not really super stoked about having to have surgery in December, but there's no getting around it. So, but the
Yeah.
recovery time is not supposed to be too bad. So I'm just going to believe the doctor when she says the recovery time is not going to be too bad.
Yeah, do
And
because they were told her recovery time was going to be way longer than it was.
oh, good. Okay, good. Good, good, good. Um, how was her first gig?
It
Or I
was
don't know if
it
that was
was
the first
cute.
one, but
It was so she had she's had a couple at this like downtown hotel that have been nice but not like super
hmm
exciting, and then she did one at Dorothy, the lesbian bar here,
yeah,
and that one was really fun. That was like all originals.
that's
Um,
awesome. Good.
yeah, and then she did one at an Irish pub last night that was very quiet, but the pub was really cute.
Well, that's fun.
The staff were really nice, so it was a fun gig.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. And you guys just got back from the trip to California or something, or
Yeah, we went for a few days to see my cousin dance.
nice,
Yeah.
nice.
It's,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
snowing here today.
What's
It's
that?
snowing here today.
Ooh, so exciting.
Yeah.
Rose has stopped calling me or texting me when it snows. And
Oh.
unless it's over about a foot. That's that
Oh,
Pacific
wow.
Northwest kid, right? Like when
Yeah.
she first went out there, like any little tiny flurry, she'd be like, call me, it's snowing, it's snowing. And now every once in a while I'll call her because I have like weather alerts on my phone for both Seattle and for Worcester because,
Mhm.
um, and I'll call her and say, hey, it sort of seems like you guys are like socked in or snowing. And she goes, it's like not even not even half a foot or whatever. And I'm like, oh my gosh, so jaded.
How it has changed.
I know,
Well,
but
I don't. I'm not there yet. It didn't really stick, but it was beautiful.
that's very cool. And you guys get to be around when they dye the
The river.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I've only seen pictures. I wonder if it's as bright in real life as it is in the pictures.
I will let you know.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna stay tuned. This is fun. So I have all this gold left over from a project that I rolled out where I melted and inlaid gold into platinum,
Ooh.
which was an experience. I'd never done that before, and it was really fun and really interesting. And it gave me actually a lot of ideas of like because platinum melts at such a high melting temperature that you can melt the gold literally directly into the platinum, and if you do like undercuts, it'll kind of stay in place. But uh, you kind of because this customer wanted everything to be flush, so everything was
Mhm.
completely smooth. You put in more than you want, and then you grind down. And as you're grinding down, you kind of re-reveal the pattern. And I
Mhm.
was like, oh, it'd be kind of cool to actually intentionally make a ring that over time would reveal some type of pattern as the gold
Ooh.
wears, but the platinum doesn't. I know, got kind of inspired by that. I was like,
That would be very cool.
tuck that.
That reminded me of a question I had for
Yeah.
you just randomly. My friend is muttering about getting engaged here, and she was talking about what kind of rings she would want to get her partner.
Mm-hmm.
And I had this idea because they're both artists, visual artists.
Neat.
And she was like, I want to do something like with natural textures and like two different metals and all this stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
it just made me think of like, because platinum has a high melting temperature, but it's really hard too, right?
So it's actually, well, yes and no. So it's actually a little bit gummier and a little bit softer than gold, so it'll dent and ding more. But what happens is over time, it doesn't wear away like gold does. It just kind of moves out of the way.
Okay.
So I like to tell people it's like if you think of the two different types of erasers, there's the normal kind of eraser like pencil eraser, and then there's an art gum eraser. And
Yeah.
art gum eraser obviously changes shape, um, but it doesn't wear down as quickly, and then the pencil eraser just wears down more evenly.
Yeah.
So gold will wear down more evenly, and platinum just kind of moves out of the way. And
Mm.
it used to be that platinum dents and dings a little bit more, but when I do the when I do the platinum castings, I get that done at Tech Form down in Portland, and they have this treatment called the hot isostatic pressing. It's hip treatment, and it after casting it compresses the molecules down, and
Mm.
it actually makes them it makes it wear more similarly to just regular any other gold. And so I did an experiment once when I was at Gold Mine where had a platinum ring, a titanium ring, a white gold ring, and a palladium ring, and they were all 2 millimeter, and I wore them all for 8 months on the same hand. And I did stuff like worked out in the yard and like the stuff I tell clients not to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, I really, really worked at trying to, wear these get dents and dings and stuff. And they all essentially, the palladium was the one that looked the worst after 8 months. Otherwise, the white gold, the platinum, and the titanium all essentially looked about the same, which was
Oh, okay.
surprising, but also kind of cool. Like,
That is,
I
that's
was,
a really cool experiment.
yeah,
That's exactly what I was going to ask you, basically. But so
yeah.
I was kind of like wondering if it, and she liked this idea, but making a ring that was, two different metals, like maybe half
Mm-hmm.
and half-ish, but instead of doing two different colors, doing one like half that's like sterling silver
Mm-hmm.
and the other half that's like a harder metal that also presents as a silver color,
Yep.
and having them just wear differently,
Yeah.
like the two halves.
Yeah. No, I love that idea. I think that'd be really cool.
It'd be very up his alley. But yeah, so I'd have to figure out which would be the hardest metal on the other half to really get that like distinction between the two.
I would think silver would be a good choice, and you just want to make sure, for longevity purposes, that it's just silver, like not all the way through the ring because it can be so bendy and wear out really quickly and stuff. But if it's applied to the ring, that can be a really great way to a big because it'll also patina a little bit, so it'll darken a
Yeah,
little bit. You'll get a little bit of some color, color differences as well as texture of wear. And silver is really soft, so silver,
yeah, that's kind of.
yeah.
But then what would be a good option for the other half? Like for the
Well,
hard, there wasn't really like a verdict
I
there on the hardest metal.
I love platinum because if you're going to do silver, then you don't have to worry about the color difference. White gold has that kind of creamy color to it. It's
Mhm.
not pure white white. So if you want pure white white, platinum is pretty much kind of the way to go.
Okay.
And then you could melt the silver into just like what I was talking about. So hopefully maybe by the time you're back, I'll have some type of project that has that as kind of an example.
That would be very
And I can show
cool.
you. I don't know what it would be, but it was really fun to do. Like I had a blast doing it. Um, it's kind of intentionally melting stuff. But then I have all this metal left over that I had rolled out, and I figured I'll make a I'll make a little branch out of it. I'll just
Aww.
make something out of it. It was going to be for the GSB auction, but I got sick and ran out of time, and then I just decided I just donated one of those little druzy heart pendants. And
Oh, nice. Is that the one that is no longer on your
yeah,
first dibs?
yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's why, yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And I
Cool.
haven't even had a chance to look at that. Oh my gosh. My to-do list. It's so funny how the to-do list really just, I mean, I'm not really a list person, but it's all kind of to some extent in my head, but
Mental to-do
yeah,
list.
it's, it's like a funny, you know, mixture of my ADD type of, I have intentions, I guess. I have a
Yeah.
lot of intentions, and then every once in a while something will just make it off the intention list, and I'll actually do it. But then there's always so it's on my intention list this week. I will look at my first dibs before the end of the
Right.
month because I want to get all that in before the end of the month
Yeah.
and kind of see, especially because of the holidays. Hopefully,
Yeah.
people are online and shopping. I'm not entirely convinced about first dibs, but
Yeah. They're odd, aren't
it
they?
sure would be nice because, like, even Etsy, which I haven't done anything with, even Etsy lets you do comma separated variable, CSV files, and you can upload a whole bunch of stuff at once. And first dibs, like, really, you actually have to go, each item has to be, manually entered. Yeah.
Very odd. They give you that like pricing. That's the one that got me. It was like they give you like a price
Oh my
suggestion.
God, those are ridiculous.
They're all so low.
Yeah, and they're supposed to be a high-end kind of sales site. Yeah, and they're like, oh,
If you go over this, no one will buy your product. I'm like, this is like not even. This is like half of what
yeah.
Mary
And then
has
and
it
they're going to take
priced at.
yeah, and they're going to take 30%. So,
That's insane.
yeah. Well, I just figured it would be some way for me to get my products in front of people, but we'll see
Yeah.
at the end of the day if that ends up seeming like the right.
Well, I had a
Um,
lot of fun writing the description for the Mount Rainier one.
oh, that's so awesome. That's so cool. Yeah, it's been really nice to be able to just kind of say like the voice notes like
Yeah,
I can ramble and somebody else can make sense of it.
I
Mm.
can definitely do that.
And my marketing mentor, I'm writing an article now about I'm writing a couple articles. One is about gem choices for
Hmm.
um, engagement rings and that kind of thing, and then the other article is about kind of what it means to be an inclusive jeweler, like what that
Mm.
means to me, kind of thing. All right, how am I gonna?
Cool.
So I'm gonna mark this. And for that, I did just a rambling into the voice app on my phone, and then he plugged it into AI, and it basically gave it. It doesn't rewrite it like perfectly or anything, but it gave um, some kind of layout concepts or whatever. It's just like somebody else then goes, oh, here's what you could do with all this rambling stuff. You could organize it in this way, or you could organize it in that way. And I have mixed feelings, but
Hmm.
it's it's kind of neat when it just gives you like a little bit of a prompt.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
Uh,
there's a lot of good applications for that
mm-hmm.
technology. It is definitely a little bit scary as someone
Mm-hmm.
who
Yeah.
hopes to get paid to write a lot of that stuff,
Yeah.
but
Well, somebody posted, on the jewelers helping jewelers that Facebook site. I think I'm sure I've told you about before, but somebody posted this website that somebody had a client of theirs had sent them, and it's hilarious because it basically the entire website was written by AI, and nobody went and like cleaned it up or fixed it or did anything.
can you tell?
And oh my gosh. So, and it's a really weird website. It's like Sun Diamonds or something like that. I'll find the link and send it to you. But basically, this AI went ahead and decided that they would talk about like how do you repair a chipped diamond? Just hit my finger. um, a chipped or broken diamond, and it basically in a super long-winded AI type of way said now we have laser welding technology and you can just laser weld the diamond back together. I mean, it's an entire page of just absolute BS. And whoever wrote it, they just posted it, and there's like no fact checking, and I mean, I don't know.
Wild.
I think that, but the problem is that clients are like Googling, you know, broke my diamond, now what do I do?
Right.
These things are coming up, and without a lack of critical thinking skills, which is, you know, kind of happening, people are actually sort of believing some of that stuff. So I don't know, it's just kind of a crack up.
And then customers coming to you being like,
Yeah, they're like, oh, you can fix this. Yeah,
weld my diamond back together.
yeah, that's a hard no. So I would hope that with AI, I don't know. I had this discussion with somebody that I was live crafting this last week too. It was really interesting about art and AI and how on one hand it opens up access to people, particularly for like the portraits where they can um, see themselves as a fantasy character or see themselves in different where they wouldn't be able to necessarily afford to say have an artist paint a custom portrait of them riding a
Right.
horse in a field with a, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Um, and it was pretty interesting to think about. But on the other hand,
Right.
as an artist, it also is it's, you know, nerve-wracking. So
Well, fortunately for us, it's not. I don't think it's quite good enough to actually take over just
not
yet.
quite yet.
But
Yeah,
yeah.
not quite yet. And that's okay. Well, and then we'll have a new set of problems to deal with anyway. So, okay,
Yeah.
why do I have this many? Oh, I made all my little branches, and now I'm figuring out where to lay them so I can solder them. And I lost track for a second. Which one will
My
where?
piece is in a pickle, so now I'm doing something else for a minute.
Nice. I know. I actually had I have several projects that I kind of wanted to work on, and it's been interesting doing this because I could be doing a repair, which I think would be interesting and potentially valuable. But then I also like working on stock because it's an excuse to work on stock because I'm sometimes forget to, or you know, I don't do that quite as often. It doesn't take priority.
Yeah.
Um, but I have several pieces that, and then one of the ones I did, I was up, down, up, down, up, down, and I thought I should probably work at something where and making a lot of noise, like a steamer and stuff like that, and the
Yeah.
buffing. So I think I actually do have to think through some of the projects of what I'm working on.
Yeah, I'm
But
gonna be polishing for half a second in a minute.
yep, that's just part of it. But it's been fun, and it's such a, I don't know. You know how it could just be kind of quiet and isolating, working by yourself, and
I, no, it was really cool. I'm
it's
glad you
off.
invited me.
Oh, I'm glad you're doing it. It's so cool. Plus, I get to talk to you again. I miss you.
Oh, it's been way too long.
I know. That'd be really cool if you come when you guys come back. It'd be really great to see you.
Yeah, definitely. I've taken one trip to the supply store here.
Oh yeah?
Have you ever, yeah, have you
Yeah.
ever
So
looked for supplies in Chicago?
no. So tell me, what's the jewelry scene in Chicago? Like, what's the supply
Well,
place like? And
I don't really know what the jewelry scene is like yet, but there's a whole, it's called, what is it called? It's called Jeweler's Way. Like that
nice.
whole
Yep.
neighborhood called Jeweler's Way.
Yep.
I've got, like,
Seattle used to have that,
oh,
but
really?
yeah, we had two buildings, the Fourth and Pike, and that were just it's like 10 floors and nothing but jewelry and jewelry suppliers.
Wow.
And then they sold the building, and then they decided that they slowly either wanted to raise rents or kind of kick people out to get more money as office spaces, and then you know, and then once, because it used to be once a week you could just go down. I would get sent from when I was working at Foxfire, and I would get paid to go down and run the errands, and you would just start on the 10th floor with Fiore chains, and you just slowly work your way down on the elevator and match gems and pick up your findings and get all your supplies. And
That's amazing.
yeah, but once people started moving out and moving home and moving into home offices, then you're kind of running all over town or shipping, and it just becomes
Right.
kind of a whole different experience that's not at all the
Yeah.
same. Yeah. But so they have that Jewelers Row still in Chicago then, yeah?
They do. I have to explore it a bit more because it was definitely like the building I was in, everything I saw looked like shop fronts for the most
Wow.
part. And then in the building there were two actual supply places, and the one I went into was very reminiscent of like a smaller Seattle Findings.
Okay.
But then the rest of it was like, yeah, again, it was like jewelers with repair shops so there wasn't a whole lot of places. I mean, I guess I didn't also know quite what I was looking for
Sure.
in terms of like who you would go to get specific things done, you know?
Mhm.
But
No, but that's
seemed to make,
rad.
yeah, I'm excited to walk around there a little bit more and try and
Yeah.
figure it out.
Are you doing much job hunting right now, or are you still kind of just wait until the end of the year to settle in? Oops.
I'm probably gonna I'm waiting to actually apply. I might poke my nose in virtually in the writing realm.
Nice. Cool.
Yeah, I met a woman here who worked for a really long time for Crate and Barrel randomly.
Oh,
She highly recommended them as a company. So
wow.
yeah,
That's pretty cool.
yeah.
Because I've never really paid attention to like their. Uh, I feel like you can know bad copywriting when you see it, but you know, like I said on that website where I'm like, it's like you're so close, but just not quite to,
Right.
you know, something that's readable and understandable. But you know, it is so important, and then not to be, you know, weird and over the top, but also fun, and then tone. I don't know. That's why it's just
Half of the catching people's attention battle. Like part of it's first part's the picture and the second part's the description, right?
yeah, exactly. And I don't know, like obviously I spend too much time on Instagram and scrolling reels and stuff, and I noticed that like every once in a while there is a product where I'm like, oh, that looks interesting. I'll just, you know, click on and see how much that costs. And it seems like a lot of them use the same kind of website. And the first thing that happens is you're like, oh, you know, either spin this wheel or enter your email. And I'm like, no, thank you.
I navigate away from those immediately.
Yeah, and then they're like, you know, oh, here's our product, and it's like a self-help book. Let us spend 3 chapters telling you why you need our book, and then we'll get into the meat of it. You know, and then you finally click on the shop now, like, yes, I just want to know how much it costs, and you get there, and it's you're like, okay, now I know how much it costs, and I don't know, it's just so stuff like that. I'm like, please, I hope that I'm never, you know, even I've been told by quote unquote experts that the first thing that people do when they click on my website should be some kind of call to action, and I'm like, I don't totally agree with that. I feel like people should just go to my website, and if they want to contact me, people are smart. They can find the contact page. I think. I don't know.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever signed up for a newsletter or like contacted a seller because of the pop-up. I've only done it because I had a question or wanted to get in touch with them.
Exactly.
Like the pop-up didn't get me to do it.
Exactly.
And in fact, it didn't make it easier because once I X away from the pop-up, even if I decide later that I'm going to get in touch, I still have to go through their website and find their contact.
Exactly. And I've a lot of the marketing strategies or marketing classes that I've been to, and it's not entirely untrue. I still get the most traction when I send out direct emails. I really do. I mean, it's just, but I'm also very sensitive to the fact that there are a lot of people now who are putting a lot of effort into cleaning up their email inboxes because of just the digital storage overload, content overload that we are all dealing with now. And so I just want to be respectful of the fact that the first thing I don't want to ask people to give me their email address because there's a lot of people who just don't want to do that anymore. Um,
Uh, or,
and they're like, oh,
like, huh.
oh, go ahead.
Oh no, finish your thought.
Oh, well, just, and they can follow me on Instagram or they can find out. There's other ways to follow somebody, I guess. So,
I don't know if other people, I imagine other people do this, but I've got two emails.
mm-hmm.
One that I give to people who I probably won't respond to, and one that I give to people that I will.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and like Rose is struggling right now. I mean, it's so funny. How can you be so techie and be a Gen X or Gen Z? But on the other hand, like she doesn't check her email but once a week, and it's usually only when I prompt her. But it's overwhelming how much email she gets from her school and her doctor's office. Like, I don't know.
But,
Just
yeah,
the
I feel the same, honestly. Like, I have an obscene amount of unread emails, and I don't
yeah,
think I will ever pick up.
yeah. I had ooh, you sparked. That sparked. I had a friend in my networking group that does digital organization. So it's basically like for people who, um, instead of like a house hoarder situation, which I don't think we think of having all this stuff as hoarding necessarily, but it is kind of
Right.
like, it is in a sense though, right? Because you're like, oh, I'm not going to delete that email because I would like to find it later. But then you're probably really never, ever going back to that. Or the bajillion photos that we have on the computer because we have, digital now. It's so easy to take a picture. Um, and there's, 8 pictures for every single one that's really good. But who's going back and cleaning all those up? And then we just buy more storage, buy more storage. So he has these kind of classes and workshops, and you can also pay him to help you um, kind of guide you through the same thing that somebody would do, like if they're coming to clean your hoarder house, is just kind of have like weekly sessions and kind of
No, you need that.
I think everybody's going to need that. I mean, it's a lot, and it's just constantly coming at us. Um,
Mhm.
I mean, I was on Old Navy for some reason for a while, and they were sending out like 2 emails a day for a while.
That is
What?
excessive.
It's completely excessive. So, I need to make 2 more pieces of straw. Yeah, it's too much. But the one thing that I did notice though, and I really love Todd. He's a great guy and great company, and I took like a little mini workshop thing. It was like 6 or 7 weeks, and it just each week kind of focused on a different aspect. Um,
Mhm.
but the cool thing is, right at the beginning, he does this kind of assessment where you get to assess your values surrounding stuff, and it's a little bit more about tapping into kind of the emotions um, and kind of your relationship with these different ways of having stuff, so that you have a little bit better sense of what you're kind of where you value your time and energy, and which I thought
Mhm.
was really cool and very helpful. But and I think he's a college professor as well, so he's got a really nice teaching style. But I think if I ever had one little criticism, I think is that he assumes that everybody is neurotypical,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
and I think if you're not neurotypical, that's actually probably the majority of the people that really struggle with that stuff.
Right.
And and so if you don't address that, you can't, I don't think you can help
Yeah.
people quite as well. Yeah.
No, the strategies that you have come up with may not work.
Yeah. Because you can tell a person, just get a planner. And,
Yeah.
and that works for a lot of people, but for people who are on the spectrum, planners are like the opposite of what will work. Look
Yeah.
at my little, I've got a, I don't know if you can see me now or not, but I have a little branch. I'm so excited.
You have to send me a picture.
I will. So it's, I used, instead of soldering, I actually cut more little pieces of the, I flattened out the same wire to really thin and kind of made it looks like solder, but it's actually the same carrot, so it melts at the same temperature. So that's fusing. So I'm actually just fusing the gold together.
Oh,
Cool. But I'm intentionally wanting this to have kind of an even and unusual surface. So for this, yeah, and having a little lump at the bottom is going to more mimic natural branches anyways.
Mm-hmm.
And then it will also make my life easier when it comes time to soldering the bezels on, because I don't have to worry about solder flowing. And fusing is a really nice technique. It can be tough to get the hang of, but it's actually I have worked with a gal who only did, when she would do ring sizing, she would only do fusing rather than solder. And yeah, so you really don't ever have to worry about the solder joint breaking because there is no solder joint. But you do have to worry about the whole thing melting. So,
give or take.
Yeah, there's, it's never easy. There's always something. I gotta make my skinnier wire from some of my other little branches. Off to the pickle. And another bite of food.
What are you eating?
Bibimbap from, I think it's down in Georgetown, and then they also have one over in Fremont, Mama's.
Oh.
What's that place called?
I think I know what you're talking about.
It's so good.
Good. I'm going to get loud for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess not that loud.
Did you get your Fordham hooked up?
Yeah. I'm using Jeannie's mic stand to hold it up.
Oh my God, I love it.
Yeah. It's actually perfect because I've got, let's see if I can show you. I tried the magnet trick you were talking about, and it did not hold. The glue didn't work.
For the Fordham or for the
for the torch.
Oh.
But so right now I have my torch in the mic stand.
Oh,
mic
that worked.
Stand. And then the Fordham is hanging off it.
Hey man, that works.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Kind of awesome. I need to get myself a mic stand.
Yeah, that's rad. I think we're the original MacGyvers, right? Make it work.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes kind of like swear a lot because
it doesn't work.
They're falling apart. Yeah. I got did I have that big new steamer before you left?
Oh yeah, the huge cranky one.
Yeah. Well, I got that fixed.
Okay, good.
Now it's leaking out of another part, but that's not a big deal. It's like a very, very slight leak. So it's just adding a little humidity. I'm sure my plants are very happy about it.
Oh.
It's a funky little piece. But it just takes up so much room. I'm just not sure. I'm still not 100% sure that it's the right steamer.
I know your other little steamer was so.
It died.
Polite. It was quiet. It didn't well. I guess it's viewed at the end of its life, but
Yeah, but it wasn't that effective. But you know, there is that kind of thing of like, okay, that was $100
Yeah.
for a small shop, or it's completely appropriate. There's so many jewelry tools that are like, you can spend 100 or you can spend 3 grand.
Right.
And there's no like,
In
there's
between.
not a lot of middle ground.
Well,
So
I need a steamer. So which one was that? The $100 one?
yeah, I think it's just a Gem Oro
Gem
is the
Oro.
brand. Yeah, and I like it
Right.
just fine. I like it
Okay.
just, it was just, I would totally, not the one with the like the little, well, I guess you could actually get the sparkle spa because then it would have a little baby ultrasonic too. It has a baby ultrasonic on the top, and and it's not the world's most effective thing, but you know, for a home workshop, you actually don't need, you know,
Yeah, well, right now I'm using a toothbrush in the sink, so
exactly,
it would be an upgrade.
exactly, and especially when you're using like sticky wax to hold stones and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another trick when I'm trying to get rid of sticky wax, I had a project I was working on last week, and the sticky wax, I was having a hard time getting it out from underneath the gem, is that you
Mm.
can soak it in rubbing alcohol or denatured alcohol or acetone, and it'll dissolve the wax.
Oh, that's a good trick.
Yeah,
I
it's a
have
nice little.
a whole lot of denatured alcohol now. They,
So,
they only sold it in gallon or 5 gallon. So,
yep, yeah. I so apparently in California, it is now illegal to sell denatured alcohol. So
why?
jewelers are kind of scrambling to, I don't really know. But jewelers have been scrambling for a while to try and figure out like, because isopropyl doesn't work, and yeah, so a little frustrating.
That's that is frustrating. I wondered for a minute if there was something like that here because it was actually kind of hard to
Yeah.
find. Um, at least according to Google.
Okay,
But
noise. Was that obnoxious, the steamer?
no.
Only slightly? Okay. Um, yeah, I mean in Seattle, Ace Hardware is kind of been the Ace or Home Depot, but I don't
The
even
aces
really.
here are not the same.
Oh, let's drag. That's a drag.
And I couldn't find it at Home Depot either,
Huh.
actually.
Well, they might
Yeah,
be trying to phase it out. I'm like, should I be hoarding denatured alcohol?
maybe. Yeah, maybe.
Like, what a weird thing.
I know.
Um,
Something that you would imagine like that would not be the issue.
right. Okay. Ay, ay, ay. Got any other trips planned besides coming back up here?
Well, yeah, so we're going to Thailand from Seattle.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So that's another reason I'm not looking for jobs at the moment. It's because we're leaving for 3 weeks.
Yeah. Oh my
Um,
gosh.
but then actually, I have another. So you were talking about like if I was looking for jewelry jobs here, to
Hmm.
definitely wait until after that trip because that's
Yeah.
crunch time for jewelers, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to get a job and then leave. But is that true like all year round, where it's sort of like longer out like um, time off is not really done in the industry?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, so my work experience has been kind of odd, I think, compared to a lot of people in this industry where I've always worked for very small custom shops.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them are more like my uncle's store. He took a lot of business classes in school and he ran it very, um, I mean, it was definitely like, it was great. It was totally great. Everything was great. And he had like, you were paid hourly and you had your 40 hours a week and you got overtime
Mm.
um, and you got a 45-minute lunch break every day and it was kind of like mandatory and
Right.
that kind of thing like really felt like a even though it was a small little shop it definitely felt like a larger um, corporation or whatever. And so with him, you would earn a vacation day. Like you start with a week after you've been there for a year, and then you'd earn an additional vacation day every year you were there. So very similar to like a corporate job.
But that's like paid vacation,
Yeah, paid
right?
vacation. Yeah. But then I also like when I worked for Cindy, that was pretty much just uh, contract type of work. And I would just kind of, as long as you kept your stuff covered and like I kept my clients happy and I could basically say, hey, listen, I'm going to be gone for 2 weeks or whatever at this time and give her enough heads up.
Hmm.
I was pretty much, able to do that.
Hmm.
And then I think that there's a lot of places that are kind of a little bit everywhere in between where I think it just depends on the shop. But I think
Okay.
kind of the bottom line is um, is giving people enough lead time and a heads up to like
Yeah.
cover. But
Well, I ask because Jeannie actually had a really exciting thing. Someone is gonna fly her to Switzerland to play
what?
music. I know. And he's giving her enough of a stipend that in theory we both could go.
Oh, that's
I
amazing.
know, and she's been really wanting to go to Europe with me. Like we were gonna maybe turn it into we'd go to Italy for a minute, and
For
but so it'd be,
sure.
like, but that's another large chunk of time to dedicate to not being here. And so I'm just sort of trying to
Yeah.
figure out how to fit that into looking for jobs.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, so in my experience, I've I've always found that April and September tend to be the slowest months.
Okay.
At least they were, and it's kind of weird because I mean, remember the market was always kind of busy, but even then, like April, people are kind of focused on taxes and stuff like that, and then September, people are kind of focusing on getting maybe kids back to school or I don't know, getting ready for the fall. So those seem to be for custom work, seem to be kind of the months that
The
things were a
slow.
little cooler.
Okay. Well, I think she would
But,
be
whatever.
invited to Switzerland in July. And so I think the ideal for us would be if we were going to go elsewhere in Europe first, we would go beforehand. So,
Yeah.
like, we'd go to Italy and then we'd go
Oh,
meet him
so
in Switzerland.
fun.
Yeah, so
Oh,
it'd
that'd be
be more
great.
like June, July.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
I mean, I think that especially since you know it coming up, it's always just about giving people a heads up.
right.
So I would just say, hey, I've got this trip opportunity and, you know,
That's going to happen.
yeah, that's
Hopefully, you still hire
gonna
me.
happen. Yeah, totally. But I mean, I don't think that should hold you back from looking. I
Yeah,
really don't. And then, like I said, also let me know when you're starting the hunt, and I will put my feelers out because there's lots of
thank you.
yeah. That jewelers group on Facebook is actually a pretty great resource.
I don't think
Um,
I'm part of it. What's it
you should
called?
be. It's Jewelers Helping Jewelers, and I will. I don't think I can add you, but I could add you, but you still have to kind of show what are the criteria? There are definitely criteria.
Yeah,
Um,
I had
but
that with the editors groups. It was mainly just like fill out this thing and we'll decide if you're just like here
yeah,
for fun or a weirdo or whatever.
yeah. I think it's just that they want to make sure that nobody's on there that's just like um,
Loitering.
trying to buy jewelry stuff for cheap or something like that. Like they really want,
I,
yeah,
yeah,
um,
I've never had a problem with those
yeah,
Facebook groups.
yeah. So you should be fine. It'd be fine. Um, but yeah, I think that would be really cool.
Mhm.
and then come back.
Yeah. Yes. I'm gonna stay here and learn from a bunch of people and get really good, and then I'll come back and just work for you.
Exactly. It'll be perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the plan.
definitely working towards that. I'm really excited about some of these articles that I'm writing too. Oh, and I will hopefully be getting featured in a uh, article in Seattle Refined. But
Oh.
and I am searching for a couple. So actually, let me put this out to you. So it'll be an article basically following kind of a love story and ring making, right? And I would like very much for it to be kind of centered around a queer couple because it's I just think that would be cool, and I know Seattle Refined would be all about it. Jeffrey, my photographer, works for them, so he and I have been
Mhm.
talking about this, um, and I want to do it sometime in the next couple months. But in my client list right now, I don't have anybody that is kind of right for that. Which I'm just going to edit this part out if I repost, so I don't offend
Yeah.
anybody. As far as like because I want to give somebody like also kind of a like basically a really good discount for and then in making rings in order and then using them for like pictures of the casting party and chronicling the process of the making and stuff. Um,
Yeah.
so if you know anybody that's near to that um, stage of their life and they're in Seattle, let me know.
Well, perfectly honestly, I know a lot of people
Well, yeah, you're the
doing
right
that.
age and the right, yeah.
The question is whether or not the people I know will be able to afford custom rings at all. But
Right. Well, and
I
that's the
could put the
thing.
feelers
Yeah,
out.
totally. And because I would love to do it. I just think that that would be um, a really neat thing. And I don't want to wait until kind of next year when I get a new batch of, wedding set customers and stuff. But I just really don't have anybody in the next couple months that kind of really fit that criteria, or that I'm doing a few, but there's people who don't live here, and I'm like, well, that's not quite the
Mhm.
point because I really
Right.
do want to show the casting party and
Yeah.
them looking over my shoulder while I'm working on the wax model and stuff. So,
Yeah.
but and we were like, well, worst case scenario, we fake it out and whatever. But I'm like, no, I want it to be the real,
Yeah. The full
real
thing.
pictures, real couple,
Because it's
real
so
everything.
cool,
It would be real
that process
neat.
that you have in there. It's
Yeah,
really
well, it'd
cool.
be nice to show more people. So the old gold mine space is going to be some kind of weird, like, I don't know, like not natural market, but it's probably some weird little natural food store or something. I don't know what it's going to be.
Sure.
Um, they have like the vinyl up that says coming soon, and I don't,
Yeah.
it's the name of
That
it looks like.
building has been half empty for so long, though.
Well, that space down at the bottom, oh my gosh.
Yeah,
So
I
Starbucks was paying rent on that space for like 4 years and not using it. They were going to make it into like one of those little Starbucks like cafe kind of things, like
know.
a more of like a little street cafe or whatever. And then
Yeah.
they finally just uh, they were even paying on it through the pandemic, and then finally I think they decided to let it go. Um, so yeah, it's I don't know, but
Interesting.
there was this moment where I was like, maybe I should just take that back and go in there and um,
It would have been cool.
it would be
Back in the market.
cool. I know. I also thought it would kind of be like kind of rude, but but it would be cool, but because from the marketing perspective of not having just constantly either you pay for it in marketing or you pay for it in real estate, there's no free lunch. Um, but I think ultimately I decided that the fact that they would require certain hours and I would probably have to hire somebody, and I just think that I don't know.
Oh, they do require certain hours because
They
they're
do,
in the
yeah,
market.
yeah. Per their lease,
Oh,
yeah. So it's like 6 days a week, and it has to be certain hours. And I've kind of become accustomed to and enjoying working at my own schedule.
yeah. I imagine. That sounds really nice.
It's pretty great. It's pretty nice.
Being able to just crash in your studio when you need to.
Exactly, and just yeah, and it's it's like a little home away from home. I have been
Mm,
looking into Seattle apartments and stuff though, because I don't know, I spend so much time commuting and away from the cats and stuff, and I
yeah.
just feel. But then, oh, and I've got this fantastic cleaner for the Hobbit house. I'm finally just so thrilled and happy. Their their name is Melissa, and they just moved here from Salt Lake City,
Cool,
and
fun.
they teach. Get this, they have free time during the middle of the day. Okay, noise. Because they teach ukulele and guitar
Oh,
lessons.
oh, that's so cute.
I know. And I'm like, and they are by far like just phenomenal, like attentive and communicative, and they don't flake. And when I forget to send something or whatever, they're like, and hey, we're out of this thing, or you might want to pick this thing up, or I don't know. I'm very, very,
Hmm.
and so it makes me feel like I actually could, if I needed to, like turn over even more of the day-to-day managing to
Right.
them if I
Just during the
needed
tough
to.
time.
Yeah.
That's so nice. I know you have quite a saga with that for a second, right? Oh
Yeah.
no.
Yeah. No, there's definitely been some issues. Oh, what are we looking at? The microwave.
Grey goo. Grey
Oh,
goo.
your goo. Nice.
Grey
The
goo.
goo. That microwave. I was
Yeah.
like, for a second, I was like, that looks. Okay, all microwave plates look the same.
Yeah.
The gray goo. There. Have you gotten a heat gun yet?
No, no. I thought I had brought the hair dryer even. I can't find it.
Does it work with the hair dryer?
It does. It takes a minute,
Okay,
but it
cool.
works.
Awesome.
But yeah, so I'm not actually. I'm glad you brought that up because I'm not totally sure how I'm gonna get the set earring out of the gray goo. I don't have.
So, you can basically get a pot of boiling water. Well, two
Mhm.
things. One, if something is immersed in water in the microwave,
Mhm.
it won't spark. So you can have metal in the microwave as long as it's fully immersed in water. I don't recommend it,
Oh,
but you can. But what I would
okay.
recommend is you basically just get some boiling water
Mhm.
and in a cup that you don't care about,
Mhm.
and then I wouldn't shock it. No, no, you're fine, actually. Listen to me like
I mean,
thinking
our sink
you can
gets
hear
pretty
the brain
hot. I
going.
could just run it into the
Yeah,
sink.
but basically, soaking in hot water will also soften it.
Okay.
And that's kind of the old school way of doing those. I mean, we used to at Goldmine, we used to have a pot, like one of those camping hot water pots, not like
Mhm.
a water kettle, but you could actually like make soup or something in them. Um,
Oh.
and we used to just boil water in that and kind of bring the goo to a boil, and it will soften right up.
Okay.
Yeah, so that'll work well.
Because I was definitely about to just put this in here with no way I knew to get it out.
So are these more of the little bezel studs?
Yeah, I just had a bunch that I hadn't used yet, and I thought it would be a good way to get back into the groove since I kind of know how to
Nice.
do it.
Awesome.
I know
Oh,
my next project, I feel like I'm going to be bugging you a bit because
awesome.
we're going to be doing stuff that we haven't done before.
I just learned some new stuff today. went up and visited Kyle, and I have a repair that I'm going to need to do because he's not going to have time to do it, and it's a setting style that I haven't really ever done very much before, and he gave me like a little tutorial, so there's
Cool.
always something to learn. Trying to decide how natural I want this to look. I don't know. I think we're going to go for full funky. Full, full,
Classic.
full funk, yeah. Doing a wedding set coming up that's going to have holdfasts, which are the rocks that sea kelp use to stay at the bottom, because you know they have
Oh,
the
yeah.
yeah, it's called a holdfast, and they basically just kind of grab around a big rock, and then the rest of the kelp can kind of sway and move around, and I'm not sure what the
I've seen, yeah, you can find like on the beach sometimes after a storm a rock with that has like the roots wrapped
yes,
all around it.
yes, yeah. I'm excited. I think that one's going to be cool, and it has a lot of meaning in their relationship, which I think is really sweet.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's a great. So these were people that I've known since I was a kid, and they were in my parents' church, and they also I remade her wedding set years ago, and then her husband passed away, and then she reached out to me about a month and a half ago and said, "Guess what? I'm getting remarried. I met somebody amazing. He's really great, and oh my gosh, he's a metallurgist." So it's like, oh, we're
Oh,
gonna have
cool.
lots of fun conversations.
Oh my God.
But when it comes time for like the casting, I'm like, okay, I'm probably gonna say something that's wrong. Like, what do I know? I don't know. I mean, for somebody who knows the science behind it, like it's all good. Just correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, it's really neat, and yeah, so I'm looking forward to that one. It's gonna be cool.
That's awesome. Okay. Can you remind me, is there anything I should know particularly about moonstones besides that they're super crackable? Like, can they go in the pickle and ultrasonic fine?
Um, yes, they're fine in the pickle, fine in the ultrasonic. Although I think, um, yeah, yeah, you just have to watch out for those surface-reaching kind of inclusions.
Yeah. This one's so bitty, I don't really know how to.
And I mean, at some point, you just gotta like, and basically, it's that kind. I think we've talked about this before too, where there's the there's the moment where you're like, oh, just if I could just go perfect that, or one more little tap or whatever.
Yeah.
When you can, try and stop short of just that moment, because I mean, I know it sounds stupid, but
No,
it's like
I
saying like, oh, it
know.
was in the last place I looked. Well, of course, it's literally because you found it. But stop before you break the stone. But there is that sometimes you have to kind of go, you know what?
That's
If I
good
keep
enough.
going, yeah, it's good. It's close enough.
Yeah,
Mm. There's you follow Atomic Gold, right?
I do.
Yeah. So did you see their post recently about how she cracked a 4 carat salt and pepper diamond in half?
No.
Yeah. I mean
Oh,
that's the downside of the salt and pepper diamonds, right? Is that they do have big inclusions in them, and there was an
right.
inclusion. Yeah, there was an inclusion that was surface reaching, and um,
Hmm,
cool thing though, it was
that's rough.
actually kind of a clean break, so it was like it's still going to be like you could set it. I don't know. I feel like they do really interesting things, so I'm sure they'll find an interesting way to at least
Mhm.
salvage the gem.
Yeah.
But it was one that I think that they'd already told the client it's a fairly expensive uh, break.
Oh,
So
that's such a shame.
yeah,
Oh, that's so disappointing.
yeah. But so like I said, just any stones that have those big surface reaching inclusions, it's okay to kind of stop, you know, and
Mhm.
or switch to a different tool if it's not quite tight enough or something like that. It's kind of like with with opals, we do a lot of what's called chicken setting, where it's just, folding over the prongs. Maybe it's not exactly all the way down on the gem, the whole way down. Um, but with opal, it's so risky. You need the stone to survive as well. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, my phone's making noises. It is so bright and sunny here. Yes. And I'm gonna try and get out to Judkins and skate a little bit later. I'm gonna skate tonight too, but I'm gonna try and get to Judkins. I started taking a skate roller dance class
Oh, amazing.
at the Beacon Dance Studio. I'm so bad at it.
Confidently back out, though.
Yeah, after the elbow, yep. Aaron's not particularly happy about it.
The dance class?
The roller dance class, like the roller skating.
You're
Just
not
because
happy
of,
about it?
no, oh, Aaron's not particularly happy about it.
Oh,
But,
I see.
but it's just, I don't know. You gotta live,
Yeah.
you gotta live life.
Okay, so I have this supposedly 3 millimeter citrine,
Uh-huh.
and it is absolutely swimming in the supposedly 3 millimeter bezel cup.
Okay. Did you get millimeter gauge, or
I
can you move it?
did.
Can you move it close to the right now? Now I can see your coffee cup and some shells.
Yeah,
Pretty.
this is what I'm working with.
I can't see it. Okay. Oh, there we go. Okay. And then okay, go ahead and put it in there. That looks, is it like a half a millimeter off, or is it just a little bit off?
Um, it's the most off that I've ever had. It's kind of hard to say. I mean, I can see like
Huh.
down into the cup.
Hmm.
I can see around the gem.
And I'm sorry, did you say you got millimeter gauges or not?
I did. Yeah, I
Okay.
can check that.
Yeah, I would check it. It's possible we got a mismeasured stone or something, or a mismeasured bezel cut. So every once in a while you get them. They put stuff in the wrong, because that's yeah.
But also, I don't know if the shape of the gem might make that possible. I don't know.
Not really. The size should be pretty. They shouldn't be quite that far off. Maybe
Hello,
little
little guy.
branches.
This is my first time using this tool.
Nice. I was also going to say that Harbor Freight has been a surprisingly good place to get kind of cheap tools.
Oh,
And I mean, they have them in Worcester, so I'm assuming that they have them in Chicago. Uh,
probably.
yeah, and they have digital calipers that are great, and they're like $20 or um, $15 or whatever. They're great. They also, oh my gosh, this is the cutest little thing. I'll show you what I got recently. Rose is obsessed with Harbor Freight. She's adorable. She go, she goes in and buys like $100 of stuff, and I mean, she bought like a little mini table saw. I'm like, honey, what? I don't. Yeah. I'll send you a picture, but it's because I realize you can't see, but it's a carabiner tape measure, and the cool thing is that it's a really flexible, like the tape measure part. It's not cloth, but it's very, very flexible, so you could actually wrap it around something like a wrist or whatever. And then it's on a little carabiner, and it was like $2.
That's so cute.
I know. Like anything that comes with a little clip. Clip it to things. It's very cool.
Okay. I'm a bit confused by this guy.
What's up?
Am I using this wrong?
Okay, show me.
Well,
There you go.
it was changing numbers without me doing anything.
Yeah. Okay. So and the gem's not in right now.
No.
Um, Sometimes that tells you that the battery is getting low, but if you squeeze it all the way tight and it doesn't read 000, there should be a little button on there to calibrate it, or that says the button
Okay.
should say 0 or
Oh, I see.
CAO. Yeah, so then you know that you're at 0 when it's closed. Yeah, you've got,
Okay.
I think it's, yep, that button there.
Well,
And
that's
then,
weird. It's like,
oh, it's still changing.
well, it's when I push my thumb against it, it goes. Okay.
Okay,
Well,
that's
let me.
okay.
There we go.
Yeah, and it's always going to do like little, all right, and then open it up and see how it, and I like to measure, oh, you're doing the inside of the bezel cup. Okay, cool.
Should I be doing the outside?
No, 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 no. Inside's best. I thought you were doing the stone there for a second, so just making sure.
This says it's 1.5 millimeters. That seems wrong.
Yeah, that doesn't seem right.
It's supposed to be 3.
And when you, well, yeah, and it's big, so, and when you close it, is the number 0 back to 0? Like
Yeah.
when you take it
Yeah.
out again, does the number go back to 0? Oh, are
Yeah.
you in, and you're not in inches, you're in millimeters.
No.
Okay, cool, cool.
Millimeters.
All right. Well, measure the stone and see if it's got the same.
1.5, whatever.
Yeah, whatever wrong measurement you were getting. It may be that you need to get new batteries, but usually when you need batteries, it'll flash. Oh, and here's another tip. Sometimes if you see the batteries flashing and you're like, I don't have batteries, if you take the battery out and then pop it back in, sometimes you can buy a little more life.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, the stone says
Uh-huh.
1.45 and the chart says 1.55.
Okay, here, can you show me the dial with something measured?
Uh,
It doesn't matter what it is. Just hold it up a little bit more. Okay, one. Yeah. Okay. Further up or towards your triangle, towards your stone tray. There you go. Yeah, that's why is it in, and that does say millimeter, right? Okay.
it does.
Um, did you buy those from like Seattle Findings or?
No, I think I bought this one. Where did I buy this?
Might be time.
Might have bought it at Seattle Findings, actually.
Okay. I would just see if there's a Harbor Freight. I've never had any trouble with mine, and it might
That's where you
be,
got it.
yeah, but oh, those are supposed to be good. Yeah. Hmm. Oh, maybe change out the battery because
Okay.
you've got the
That's all
battery
right.
in there. But yeah, anyways, if the stone is a little bit too big, but you feel like you can close the metal over, it really isn't a big deal.
The stone is small. That's the.
I mean, that's what I meant. I'm sorry. If the bezel seems a little bit big, but you think that you can get the gem in and close the metal without it showing, then it's probably fine.
Yeah, I don't think
Um,
it'll show. I think it'll just spin or move, is
yeah,
my guess.
yeah,
Is that okay?
yeah, yeah. I mean, if it moves around a lot, you could run into, it doing that cockeye thing. Um, but you could also take just you know, um, hesitant to use sticky wax because it takes a lot of effort to clean it off, but you can also take a tiny little piece of Scotch tape and kind of wedge it or something that just helps you wedge it to keep it from moving around, or just hold on to it until you pin the 4 corners. You do those first 4 corners, and after that it should be fine. Yeah.
Right.
it's just annoying and it's loose because it just will just move around. But it doesn't sound like it's going to show. Then I would keep going.
Okay. Yeah, it's a teeny little stone. It's smaller than any of the ones I've set before, actually.
Cool. One of these times we'll try and get the punches going, but those don't work as well with cabochons.
Mm.
I'm gonna try and do this one with the punch, but we'll see. It's probably going to be, I think today I can get a decent amount of the bezel soldered in, but setting I'll probably save for my next live craft. It's been kind of fun to just have like I finished one project that took me 3 different sessions.
Nice.
And then it's like, oh yeah, and then here it is, it's all done. This little that upcycled ring I just posted, which is super cute and kind of fun. That was a very included gem that has this kind of big fissure along one edge, so it's funky, but it survived setting and okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. It seems, unless I'm measuring wrong, it seems like my gem is smaller than 3 and my bezel cup is larger than 3.
Okay, so like 3 point something and then 2
Like
point
2.9 and 3.14.
Okay, yeah, you're fine. Go ahead and set it. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that'll be totally fine. The concern would be like is if they accidentally gave you a 3.5 millimeter setting.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and then and you have a 2.7 millimeter stone, then that really probably is not practically going to work. But you can make all kinds of things work. Plus, making stock is still fun. I get to decide how it looks. That's pretty fun. And I'm hoping to get a couple. I have another wedding shoot in like like the sample shoot kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's in Bellevue in December, like December 19th or something. So hopefully I don't have to pull off a necklace as quick as I did last time. But
I won't be around to help.
I know. It's funny. Well, it's always a challenge to like decide how much stock do I actually want to have when most of my clients come in already looking for something specific and they're not looking for stock. But I really enjoy making stock.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there's always kind of that. But I actually have a couple new pieces in the works, so I'm pretty happy. And this actually would be perfect as like a boutonniere.
Cool.
Right? That would be kind of cool.
I wish I could see it.
I know, I'm sorry, I'll send you pictures.
Yeah. What time is it? Just out of curiosity.
3:24.
Okay, 5:24 on my end.
Mm-hmm. Do you have a hard stop?
No, I'm just getting hungry.
Well, we can, usually I do like, I don't know, hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever. Hour and a half is good though. Like, I don't have any real set rule or anything. I mean, it's really just, I don't know. There was this quilter person that does like crafts and stuff like that on Instagram, and like one night he was going live and the camera was focused at the work, and it was really neat. I was just sitting at the wax bench working on a ring at the same time, and it was just kind of a neat experience of like just hearing somebody talk. I don't know, I get kind of like I'm not completely over podcasts, but I dove into this one series of podcasts, and it's actually really good. It's called Windowsill Chats with Margaret Tantal, I think, and it's good. I really liked it, but if you listen to like three of hers in a row, the people that she interviews are people who've kind of made it in the world of crafting in one way or another. And there was this sort of running theme where all of them would be like, yeah, I made these, I did this line of greeting cards and that was wildly successful and that enabled me to like transfer into this thing and that thing. And everybody had something in common, which was sort of like they were surprised and they stumbled upon success, and then they now can do whatever they want, and they have, 80 million Instagram followers and blah blah blah. And you can
Right.
listen to one of those, you can listen to two of them, but after you listen to like three or four, you just are kind of like it becomes a little less relatable and a little just
Yeah.
more annoying. It's like,
Right. You're like, okay, I get it. You made
yeah.
it. It was an accident.
Right. What's like,
Oops.
I'm not sure what I'm gleaning, but I do kind of appreciate how much it seems like people are talking about more about mental health lately, kind of openly in on podcasts, and also talking about like ADD um, and how that affects crafters and people who work from home and stuff like that. So that's always
That's good.
to hear, but
And you're hearing that in these podcasts as well.
yeah, she talks. Yeah, and yeah, so she the it just seems like it's kind of an interesting recurring. There's some kind of recurring themes amongst people and approaching
Mm-hmm.
art and approaching craft, and I just think there's some just really interesting conversations there to be had about um, what it means to be pursuing a life of creating things in a weird kind of capitalistic and materialistic kind of way, but also not, right?
What's the podcast called?
um, Windowsill Chats, and I think it's Margaret Tantal. I think it's but if you just look up Windowsill Chats, you'll find it. Um, it's neat, but um, yeah, I mean, I love listening to music when I work, but sometimes it's nice to like mix it up
Yeah.
and you're not here anymore, so
I
nobody
know.
to
I need
talk
to do this with
to.
you more.
Yeah, we should. We totally can. And I will do the um, maybe I will wait until you come back, but I should do. I'm gonna do a few more little like mini tutorial-y type of videos and stuff like that. It's
Right.
a lot of times it just comes down to like I don't know, editing or kind of running out of the energy when it comes time then to do editing or
Mhm.
um, and then days and days go by and I'm like, oh, it's been 3 weeks since I posted on Instagram. I should probably let people know I still exist.
Yeah, right.
Kind of silly,
I'm
but
I am terrible at that. That's going to be an interesting learning curve.
well, it'd be really cool
Uh,
though to see you kind of pursuing your jewelry though too. I mean, I think as you're looking for jobs and stuff like that, it would be really neat to see people who can appreciate, maybe places that you can also have your jewelry for sale would be really neat.
that would be cool.
Yeah.
I have a friend here with that there's a little shop that she's obsessed with. It's open really irregularly, but she thinks that'd be a good spot to look. But yeah, there's a lot of like little kind of makers collectives that we've explored around here, which is nice.
That's awesome. I was talking to somebody the other day. I think it would be really neat to have like I think it would be really cool to have this place be more of a collective
Mm-hmm.
and less of like a traditional business model of like Green Lake Jewelers or something like if I grow um, a lot, I think it would be neat to have, like I said, more of a collective and more of like, shared tool. Like if you go into a hairdresser's, um, I don't know. I guess it should just be viewed less of a competition and more of like a whole
Community.
bunch of jewelers can exist in the same space and
Right.
still thrive and survive because everybody's got their own different styles and their own type of clientele that they're going to be looking for. And I just don't think because I think a lot of people are like, oh, but then they're in competition. And it's like, it's not really. Um,
But like you're in competition anyway.
right,
But
exactly.
in this
And
case, you're in competition, but you're sharing resources. So it's like more collaborative.
totally. And I mean, I would love to have a laser welder, but me by myself couldn't really justify buying a, 10, 15, $30,000, depending on which one you get, laser welder. But if I had a larger space and we had three or four or four, five jewelers, then it makes a little
Yeah,
bit more sense. And then, yeah, I mean,
definitely.
there's so much space and so many things that are just sitting around waiting for people to like utilize them. It'd be nice to.
Mhm.
But, okay, I've made my little. I'm gonna send you pictures of my little. I made a branch. It's so
Oh,
fun. It's so cute. It's a cute little branch. Like, I should probably look and see if my bezels are gonna fit and work with it. Details. Let me cute
I've
little.
misplaced my solder.
Your which?
My solder. It was just here, I swear.
I'm only laughing because I can relate.
Maybe.
Then I have to transition out of this stuff and go do my start working on some custom and some repair.
Mm.
But it's going to be hard because I could actually see just working on this all day.
Was it exciting and yours?
It's fun. Well, and I'm also really excited to see what it looks like when it's all done.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be so cute. Oops.
Okay, this is a problem though. Put that down.
I am really excited to see what when you get all set up and everything too. Like, oh, excuse me, sorry. Oh,
Bless you.
I'm sure that was loud. That came out of nowhere. Oh, what am I doing? Bezels.
Is it right in front of my face and I just am not finding it? What the heck?
Okay,
Did I
what
throw it away?
are you looking
Hmm?
for again? What are you looking for again? I'm sorry. Oh,
Solder.
solder?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I had a project the other day and I didn't realize I was running low on my solder. And I made it all the way to the end of the project and I have like a 2 millimeter by 2 millimeter piece of solder left.
Yeah.
I was freaking out. I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna make it. Yeah, it was pretty funny.
Well, and when I went to Seattle Findings, they didn't have a lot of solder. They had like
Huh.
two types of
Oh,
solder.
really?
Maybe they were just like low at that moment.
Uh, I oh, I'm missing a couple planned branches here. Um, yeah, I actually I bought mine from Pacific Iron and I mean United Precious Metals
Mm.
because I think it matches the color of the gold a little bit better. But okay, where's this one gonna go? Oh, oh my gosh, I'm upside down. No wonder. Is this going to be your first solder?
No, I did one earlier while we were chatting.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. It was a bit sloppy, but
Did you put it on your lap and stand up? That's what I do.
what?
I
Oh, the
put stuff
dryer?
on my lap. Yeah, I put stuff on my lap and then I stand up and then it falls on the floor, but I don't know it. That's my ammo.
Yeah. No, I put it away in the wrong spot.
Well, that's what you get for putting things away.
All right. I should just-
You will be hunting for things. The life of a jeweler. This is so cute. Hmm. Doodly doo.
I up tiny myself on that piece of solder.
I actually cutting something the other day, a little piece of solder, and I was like, "That's a Caleah sized piece of solder."
It's a full measurement system now.
Yeah, it was pretty tiny, but it was effective. It worked, but it was really funny. It was really tiny. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So black, brown, pink, white, blue, yellow. Oh, I have an extra bezel. That's why. I was like, I have too many bezels. I was trying to figure out which color I forgot. That's gonna be so cute. I'm excited.
It'll work.
All right, I think I've reached my stopping point.
All right.
Um, Send me pictures. I'll send you pictures.
Sounds good.
Oh, this is funny. You can actually see my I have I'm laying it out on one of my little what do you call it? What do you call those? The little pounding blocks. Anvil blocks.
Oh,
Anvil
yeah.
blocks. And it's shiny.
Mm.
So, and I'm looking over every once in a while. I have this on my iPad as well, so I can just see if anything comes up. And you can see my little reflection up my nose in the soldering pad. Because it's a little bit delayed.
Oh.
So that's a good look. Right on. Well, it's so good to chat with you. Please say hi to Jeannie. What's she up to today?
You just had a very uh, uneventful in the house day. She went
Nice.
grocery shopping. She's making an epic smelling curry for dinner.
Fun.
Yeah.
Is she
It
doing
was this
any
good.
chefing for people or
No, not here.
not yet? Not there.
Yeah,
Um,
just for me.
nice.
Yeah. He started baking bread again.
Cool. Well, I think she should start doing some Instagram lives again so that I can, like she did during the pandemic, so that I can actually hear her sing.
I'll let her know that.
'Cause I miss
Maybe she could
it.
do. Yeah, I'll let her know. You can just have her on while you're
I
working.
know. That would be so fun. That'd be cool. So I was sort of like, okay, who could I do this with besides like crafters who are doing something with their hands or whatever. And Jeffrey, the photographer, he's going to
Yeah.
do like photo editing while we're talking, which is cool.
Oh, cool.
But then it was like, there's gotta be like more, what other artists, like musicians, maybe they could just be singing or workshopping, I don't know what it looks like to be a musician, like as you're
Well,
doing
I think
stuff.
Julie would be self-conscious doing this and trying to write music at the same time because she's always saying how when she's writing music, she's basically just playing the same thing over and over again,
Right.
is what her workshopping looks like. And she's just like, I feel like I'll
Yeah.
annoy everybody.
And so I was kind of thinking, like, I don't know if it totally works for that, but like, it just would be neat. I just think it's neat to show the process of
Yeah.
of all different kinds of making, and I just think it's a neat thing to be able to see, like what actually goes into all the processes.
No, it
So
really is.
it could be a lot of, but and I'm like, I want to do this with everybody, so maybe I'll just have people, I don't know, like I'll just have people on and they could just be reading a book and I could just be talking to them. Basically, it's so I can have like a coworker to talk to. I think that's what it
Yeah,
all
you can
boils.
work. I mean, I'm up for doing this whenever because I also enjoy having coworkers.
Yeah.
Just having coworkers.
Well, it's funny, I was telling Rose, and we actually did this last night. It's the body doubling, I guess is the new term for it, is
Oh,
when you need to be working on a task that you don't, that you're putting off or whatever, you can, especially if you're working from home or working by yourself or that kind of thing, is basically you do pretty much exactly this, only a lot of times it's just silent. And but you can like look over every once in a while and see that somebody else is working, and it just is kind of helps you to stay, I don't know, on task and motivated.
yeah.
And now there's a whole website. There's a whole like you can join this like online community, and you can like subscribe. So if you have this subscription, you can go to like, you know, 5 co-working sessions per week or whatever. And
Mhm.
and they do so basically they're like in 2 to 3 or 4 hour blocks, and usually after like an hour and a half they will kind of call everybody for a break and like stand up, stretch your legs, whatever, and then there might be like a little bit of socialization, and then everybody kind of goes back to um, whatever task they were working on. And I
That's
think
so funny.
it's such a funny, weird little offshoot of like the pandemic.
The
Like,
virtual we work.
right? But like, you still need your people, so now you're paying to have your people. But it's so cool. Like, what a great, you
Yeah.
know, thing to do. And but yeah, it's been fun to do with Rose. I also have a like accountability buddy networking group, and we do that every Monday from every every Monday from 10 until 2. And it's just on Zoom, and everybody's kind of quiet, but you can just see that people are working, and then
Honestly, I could very much benefit from the accountability buddy part.
that's awesome. Let me talk to my people because Jean's in Chicago, so
Oh,
Jean is her Instagram, I'll send it to you, but it's So Choice, and it's SEW Choice, and it's a play
oh.
on Ferris Bueller. She loves Ferris Bueller. But she does
Oh,
like super cheeky embroidery circles, and then
that's so fun.
yeah, and makes the patterns for them and stuff. And she's hooked into, so I really want to get you guys hooked up together anyways. That's I tried to get her to go to Jeannie's gig, but I'm not sure if that happened or fell through. And it's the other person that I know in Chicago, not Nina who just graduated from school.
Oh, yeah.
But but yeah, it would be but she'd be a neat person to know, and then also because she's lived there for a while, and we met her because of craft camp,
Mm.
or I met her because of craft camp. I guess at one point she came out to craft camp. Um, but I will. kind of contact the gals and say like, can we add another person? And she's in Chicago, and she could be Jean's friend and stuff. But it's she'll also then know about like all the craft fairs and
Right.
kind of all
Yeah,
that stuff that's happening.
I've been to a couple of craft fairs. They seem really cool here.
That's awesome. It's fun too to like when my mom was doing the craft fair circuit. Um, Sometimes it seems like you get kind of like you're like, yep, I know those guys. Yep, I know those guys. Yep, I know those guys. And then when you go to a different city, you get kind of fresh craft
Mm-hmm.
blood, right? Which is always fun
Right.
too. Yeah. So, and I'm just not hooked into the craft markets at all, but it would be neat to be more connected. I don't know that that would be for the business, but it still would be. I'm not sure yet, but
Right.
it'd be kind of cool to see. But, yeah. All right. Well, it's been nice to chatting with you.
I miss you
Okay.
too. Thanks for having me on.
Totally, totally. And I'm gonna repost this, but then what I'll do, I mean, I don't know that anybody watches them on Instagram reposted, but then what I'll do is I just do a very slight edit, cutting out some part, like mostly just the beginning and end kind of stuff. And
Yeah.
then I just repost on YouTube. And
Okay.
I don't know what comes of it. That's not my intention really anyways, but
Yeah.
if people want to watch it, great. And whatever. I don't know. I just think it's fun to
Well,
do.
let's do this again on or off the public
Yeah,
live
totally.
stream. That'd be really fun.
Totally. Totally down with that.
Okay.
All
All
right.
right.
Talk to you
Thank you.
soon. Don't forget
You
to get up
too.
and stretch.
I will.